Hi there, this is Batman. I'm one of the Forgiven Misfits, and this here is our show. We're entrepreneurs looking to make an impact in the world with our products and services that we believe in. And for some reason, a lot of us Forgiven Misfits seem to be in network marketing. So one of the first rules of business is give the people what they want. So we're going to be talking about network marketing a lot, just so you know here. So how can a square peg in a round hole, a rebel, a renegade, a misfit, how can they survive to carry on with this purpose they feel called to live out? That's the question. Coach Spiegel and his fellow misfits and this show are the answer.
Hey, misfit! This is you're the Forgiven Misfit. Here now is your one, Mr. Coach Spiegel, and what a great day! This should be the very first groundbreaking episode, and by groundbreaking I mean not ground baking like you're baking a cake. I meant to say groundbreaking episode. Just the fact that I don't mean by groundbreaking like it's so awesome, it's gonna change the world, it's gonna change the market, blah blah all that. I mean like groundbreaking like this is the first, like we're breaking ground. This is the very first one, and I'm going to reveal it all for you today. Okay, starting off kind of like even when I was little Coach Spiegel. You can call me Coach Spiegel, you can call me Eric Spiegel. I don't care. You call me whatever you want. And to tell you about the history of me, hopefully this won't go on for too long. I do have lots and lots of business lessons and marketing lessons and selling lessons in it. So it's not just me spewing off, because it's one of the principles that we're founded on here in the Forgiven Misfits is we are forgiven, and we are now using our powers for good. We made mistakes in the past and that we're not proud of, but we've learned from them, we've grown from them, and we know why it happened. We know what we're going to do about it. And we're walking the path of awesomeness, of righteousness now, changing the world. For however it plays out, whether it's your own business, whether it's your own life, whether it's your business that you create yourself, or you are like selling somebody else's business, aka the MLM world. I love the MLM world. Love it. Just great, wonderful people, and at least the good ones. The good ones stick. And I'm going to share with you it all today, and it's going to be a pretty revealing one for you. And I do have one condition, one stipulation, that when you're done listening to it, should be about an hour or so, but you probably knew that already because you looked at the time frame on it, and you're like, I don't know if I have time to listen to that, but I'll just break it up in chunks or something like that. That's probably what you said, right? Bless you, misfit. And so, who are we? First up, we are the square pegs of the round hole. We are the change makers. We are the difference makers. We are the ruckus makers. We are the troublemakers. We are the rebels, the rebellious ones. We are the ones that buck authority. And I don't have it on me, but that quote by Steve Jobs basically takes care of it. We're the ones that see things differently. We're the ones that have never felt like we belonged. We probably had our cliques and our little friends here and there, but it was always a crowd. We just felt alone, and we've just felt different. We just it was almost like we are outside ourselves watching the world around us. Everybody seems to be at their whim of their emotions, at their feelings, and just being an employee, like just showing up and doing a job, like just doesn't sit right with us. And we never really quite felt like we belonged anywhere until now, and that's what we're going to be here too. So I'm going to tell you my story today, kind of how it all started, and I'm going to give you the cliff notes, because otherwise I'll probably be here all day if I break down my entire history for you. But my one condition is that I do have a little bit of entrepreneur ADD going on. Okay, I got to warn you about that. Well, welcome to the ride. We do go off on kind of little side tangents here and there, and I record these to you for the most part while I am driving driving down the road. And on the side, I have, it's like an Uber for medical transports. And driving is when I listen to a lot of the podcasts and audiobooks. And so I do a lot of these recordings for you. And it's my zone out time. I'll just be alone with the white noise and just do lots and lots of great thinking. And I do believe it's what's really accelerated a lot of my learning. And so that's why I'm recording to you now, today. And it makes things pretty interesting. You're getting a live cast. Whatever happens on the road, like I've almost hit deers before and all that fun stuff. So we are in for a ride, my friend. So let's start off the first day that my condition is that after I'm done sharing my story, that I want to hear yours. I want to hear all about your mistakes. I want to hear all about your goof ups. I want to hear, nothing bad will happen. All it is make you more lovable, my friend. Make you more relatable to the rest of the fellow misfits. And what it is I am on a journey to a million, and I'm not a millionaire yet. Actually, I'm as I'm recording to this right now, I just got some good news like today. I was like, oh god, like otherwise I'm a little bit broke right now. Just like not like bill collectors chasing me. That's been the past before. I'm doing a little bit better now. We're staying ahead of it. But good. I'm on a path to $1 million, and I'm going to be a millionaire. But before my time is up on this planet, and in order to do that, one of the rules that we have to live by in this business world is that in order to have a business, okay, this is, if you stop it right here, how deep are we in? 6 minutes. Okay, you can stop right here if you don't want to listen to my story. And this statement right here is going to change your life. This statement here is going to change your business. This is going to change the entire framework of how you conduct yourself here on Out Misfit. And this statement right here is how a person gets money, gets rich, whatever you want to call it. We do it by creating something. We create something that holds more value to another person than that money in their pocket. Want me to repeat that? I'm going to repeat that. We get money. This is how it works with marketing. Marketing just like lets you see that other person's value. It just takes the customer on a journey, takes the client on a journey. So that way they see that value. And then along the process, they learn to know, like, and trust you and know that you care about them and all that fun stuff. Same thing with selling. Selling is just forget about the closings and that all that fun stuff is fun to do. But if you don't believe and if they don't believe that what you created holds more value to that person than that money in their pocket. So look at all the stuff that you buy in the course of a day. Ask yourself why you bought that. Why did you buy that food today? Because that food held more value than that money in your pocket. And so you got to go conduct yourselves to show a person, hey, how does this add to your life? How does this add value to your life? And this is what it's going to take to do it. And if they got that little counter in their head, ding, 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 that it's not going to happen like that. They're like, that what he says is pretty cool, but that's not important to me to save a little time each week or to make a little bit more money, to invest today, to get a little bit more later. Yeah, that's not working. So anyways, let's start off right at the beginning. And I grew up, the first day that I kind of knew that I was different, the first day that I knew that I wasn't normal. We're not the normal ones. We're the crazy ones. And most people can't even get through their day without 40,000 feeling bads and complaints and all that fun stuff. So we're a little bit of the crazy ones when we go after this life that we're heading down. So the first day I was out by my grandparents' house, and I'm not going to name names or anything like that. Let's just say there's a group of guys there then, and I was related to a few of them, uncles and cousins and some neighbors there. There's a farm, and there was a watering tank thingy, and in that watering tank thingy I think I was like 3 or 4, to be honest with you. I just remember this just because our memories are very tied into emotions, like our emotions surrounding that. And that's a little insight there about how to remember stuff easier. I'll explain that to you deeper. And well, this watering tank thing, it's kind of like a little mini swimming pool like that right outside the farm. And there was a farm cat that came by, and my uncles and cousins and neighbors they're all males, and they grabbed the kitty and threw the kitty into the water. And the kitty was like, "Ah!" and freaked out because cats hate it. And it was like the look of terror was on this is like a little kitty's face. And it was swimming to the edge of the watering pole, and then they grabbed it, threw it back in. They're being bullies. They're being a little bit mean. And I was terrified. I was sick to my stomach. I was like, how could you guys do this to that kitty? So I run in there, I like push my cousin aside, and because he was about to reach for the kitty, and I grabbed the kitty, and I'm like, how can you guys do this? I was like 3 or 4, and I just like couldn't take it. And I grabbed the kitty, and I ran it back to the house and asked Grandma for a towel to wash it off, and she's asking what happens, and I didn't want to like get my uncles and cousins in trouble, so I just said she like fell into the watering tank there. I forget what they called it. And she said, oh, okay. But afterwards, like I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, there was probably maybe 10 or so of my cousins and uncles that were there, and I was like the one out of the thing that like felt like this is wrong. This is like, what are you guys doing? Like, this is terrible. And that's when I knew that I was different. I wasn't thinking like those guys did. I didn't like feel the feeling. It wasn't pleasurable at all, like seeing that animal suffer. And I just knew that I was different. I just knew that I kind of knew from that moment on, like, and school, everything was fine. I was always a great student. I was always a smart student. I was always straight A student. Like, that was no problem there. You never hear about the ruckus, the troublemakers that are like, that's the typical thing that happens with us misfits, is we usually like to buck authority. But I would kind of like see the end path. I kind of see why this is important. A lot of it was my parents. Like, I just wanted to make them proud. And my dad had a very rough growing up, and he wanted me to have a better life. And my dad believed that it was the path of going through school and education. So I was blessed to be very smart, and this learning stuff is something I'm pretty good at. And I ended up being a tutor throughout all classes in schools, and I got way more enjoyment out of that. And being a teacher is like a little hidden secret, a little hidden hack, is we learn better whatever we're teaching. So as a result, I was like one of the best students in every class because I was the one teaching all the class. And people were just drawn to me as far as teaching, and I got really good results with all my students I was teaching. I had a chemistry teacher pulled me aside, and one of the students I was like having a really, really, really time with chemistry. Imagine that, right? Chemistry? Whoa! I don't know what was wrong with me to be good at chemistry, but I suck at it nowadays. But anyways, I pulled the student aside, and he was my friend, so I started coaching him. I didn't want to see him fail, so I started teaching it to him, and he got it. And I had a teacher that came up and said, Eric, you got a gift for this teaching stuff. Like, he is not the, like, he gets it. Like, you did good because of what you do, and it wasn't me and my teachings. Like, it's what you did working with them one-on-one. I really appreciate that, and I think you got something here. And that's kind of, I get a nice little high at the end of teaching somebody, coaching somebody, and they get it. It's like something happens to me. It's like feeds something in my soul. It like just fires me up, and I'll be like lit up for hours, if not days afterwards. And Tony Robbins talks about it all the time. He goes, we're all after feelings. We're all after the feeling of something. Like, we rewatch movies that were great. We re-listen to songs that were great. They just trigger something in us that aligns with a feeling. All we are is just feelings. And a lot of times we're just fighting to get back to the feelings. People that are on drugs, people that are feeling pain, like their goal is to not feel pain, and they're longing for something else. So I love that feeling, and I was like, ooh, I like this feeling. I think I want more of it. And went to college and did some more tutoring here and there. I wasn't as fun in college. That's when I started getting frustrated. I was at a couple jobs there, and jobs I always had, I was always like one of the best employees up to a point. Like, but I was always like the diva. I was always like, I don't know what you want to call it, like the butter face of employees. Like, I was super, super talented, really, really good. I was always like the best. But I came with like, oh, we got to do this. We got to accommodate that. Like, little bit of this, little bit of that. And I always kind of want to do things my way. Like, I always looked at it like my way was the better way. And in the employee world, in the employment world, that's where I started getting into trouble left and right. And you want me to go through the whole history of my employments, all through that? You want from 16-year-old me? You want to hear about that? You got it, friend. This is your journey. I already walked this journey. I'm just here to share it with you here a little bit. Sorry, going back to I'm on a path to $1 million, and I am just going to be staying one. I don't know if you've heard about the Frank. I'll pause and I'll go back to my employment of history. Let me finish that little open loop, that little trail of thought from before. And excuse me, I just burped up a little bit. I'm gonna grab some coffee. Let me wet the whistle a little bit. There, much better. So I'm on path to $1 million, and I realized that I can fast forward results. Zig Ziglar, famous quote: "You can get everything in life that we want. I can get everything in life that I want if I help enough people get what they want." And so I'm going to assume that it's not so much money that you're after, but it's what money brings you. It's what money opens up for you. It's whether it's just being stress-free, just like running out of money at the end of each month. There's more month than money at the end of each month. Whether it's what's that? It's not so much the $1 million, but it's how people are going to be treating you, how you approach each of your days. It's about being stress-free. It's about not worrying like if I'm like one car crash away or one broken car away from like total bankruptcy, abysmalness. That's what it's more about. Like the $1 million is just a number for now. It's more about what that represents to us, my fellow misfit. And so I'm on this path to $1 million. And for me, it's about benefiting lives, because I know if I have $1 million to my name right now, it meant that I exchanged that. I got that in exchange for creating enough value for enough people that warrants that $1 million. And so that's what I'm all about. I'm creating value in your life right now. And depending on where you're at, I don't really have anything to sell you at all, but I'll let you know when that time bridge there is that when the time goes there. For now, I'm just on this path, and I'm just taking other people with me. And that is you from here on out. So I am, it's a Frank Abagnale story. I don't know if you've heard the Frank Abagnale. He's from Catch Me If You Can. The Leonardo DiCaprio classic, Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks classic. If you didn't, go ahead and rewatch that again, because that guy was a misfit. He didn't understand his powers. That's what happens with us misfits, my friend, is we end up kind of turning to, because we're a little higher on the scale of awareness about it, and we don't really like authority. We don't really like law, and our way is kind of the better way, and we see a better way, and so what we do go after kind of falls in the face of what they want of us, and so it kind of tends to get us in trouble. Sometimes it's with the law, sometimes it's just with the school system, sometimes it's with our parents and everybody else like that, and hopefully, we can recover from it. Hopefully, we can get over that. So Mr. Frank Abagnale was Catch Me If You Can, and he had the power. He had the misfit power in him, but he turned to a little different means, and he kind of saw a way that to profit highly from it, and he was not shown another way. He just kind of started down that path. Anyways, remember the one scene? It was in the beginning. And he was like 15 or 16, and he showed up. He got bullied and beat up a little bit in the school ground or something like that, and shows up to the class, and the teacher didn't show up yet. So he walks to the front of the class, and this scene is so classic. He walks to the front of the class, And he slams his book down. He's like, all right, class, let's get to work. And those bullies are in there like, oh, no, we're screwed. And so he started to proceed to teach class. And it was like some advanced chemistry class or anything, something like that. And the movie kind of glossed over a little bit. Like, they made it sound like it was a couple weeks. Here it was like the whole entire semester. And he didn't get busted till the end. And he like conducted the class just like he was the teacher. He gave out tests, he gave out quizzes, he gave out grades, and it wasn't until the end he got busted. And the teachers and the principal sits him down and says, "How on earth were you able to teach? This is like advanced chemistry class, and keep going with it. You didn't graduate. This is not your degree. This is not what your life's passion's about. How on earth were you able to teach it?" And he says, this is another profound statement for you, Misfit. Wow, this is, it's my story. You're getting gold in here, lots and lots of gold. I expect you to do a lot so far with what you've been hearing. Frank Abagnale says, he goes, all I did was read one chapter ahead. One chapter ahead. That's all he did. He read that one chapter and then conducted business sequentially after that. Whether it was tests or quizzes or whatnot, because everybody else is just reading the chapter, and he's reading one chapter ahead, and they taught it to him. Read one chapter ahead, taught to him. So on my path to $1 million here, health coach. Sorry, you probably are a health coach too, but you're also a misfit. But I'm on this path to $1 million, and all I'm doing, I'm just staying one chapter ahead, reading that one chapter, passing on to you, and I'll tell you all about the businesses that I'm building right now, and whatever path that you're on, I'm going to show you how it's going to work for this, and I'm just going to stay one chapter ahead. As I learn it, I'm going to teach it to you. As I learn about sales, as I learn about marketing, as I learn about psychology and people and persuasion and all that fun stuff, I'm going to be teaching it to you. And I am on this path. I'm just one chapter ahead. That's it. And I'm just taking a whole bunch of people with me that want to come, that want to go there, and that is you, hopefully from you. All right, back to me now. Beginning, my first employment job was, I was like washing cars growing up. I had a couple neighbors. I want to wash some cars, and the really big lesson that I learned as far as money was one day my dad had like a sort of reunion type thingy, and I was like 8 or 9. And I was outside washing my dad's car, and it was my job, always my job to wash cars. And my uncle's pulled up, and his car was there, and I think he had a Jeep. He had a really nice Jeep. And I'm like, I got the bucket, I got the watering hose, I got everything else. I'm just gonna wash my uncle's Jeep too as well. I would probably washed all the other Jeeps, but all the other cars that were there, but this one was closest. And so I just washed the car, and I don't even know if I told him about it, but he comes walking out or something afterwards, and he's like, Eric, did you just wash my car? I'm like, yep. He pulls out $5 and he gives it to me. Like, I didn't. How was that for a sale? How's that for a selling lesson right there? That if you wanna like be selling and not like come across as salesy and slimy or anything like that, give the result. And I'm going to talk to you about it. I'm going to break down the process for you, how this is all going to be done. But if you understood that right there, everybody else is like, give me money, and then I'll get you a result. I just want to let you realize, in it, like I just had upon a secret there. So my first few jobs there were washing neighbors' cars and trucks, and it was okay. It wasn't bad. Made up a little money. I had allowance and all that fun stuff. And it wasn't until I was 16, I was 16, and here's where I became. I think this is what kind of made me troublesome in all my jobs and all my employments. Is I was told my whole life I was drinking the Kool-Aid, sped by my dad. And no offense to my dad, nothing at all. I am a success today, and I'm going to be even more of a success because of my dad, because of the lessons that he taught me. So this is not his fault at all. This has nothing to do with him. And because he was a product of his generation, he was a product of his times, where he said you got to go to school and you got to get a job and you got to go work for somebody, and then they got to give you a whole bunch of money for it. And if you read The Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is on our books, that you're going to be watching, the Dirty Dozen. You can watch them too if you want. I'd rather you read the books or listen to them. But it's right up there. Depending on which path you choose, kind of like the choose your own adventure there with the books that I got right laid out for you to walk, to ingest. Rich Dad Poor Dad, where that's the whole essence of that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And so my dad didn't. It's not his fault. He didn't know. And so up to 16, my dad worked at one company as a computer programmer for about 25 years, one of the biggest program companies in the world. And all his life telling me to go to school, get a good job. Go to school, get a good job. Get good grades, go to school, get a good job. And so I was walking that path until he was about 20. He was like with the company for like 20-ish years. And they had layoffs every year or so, and all of a sudden he comes up and he didn't make this round of layoffs. He was let go. And he was in a deep, dark funk, and he got over it, but it super, super affected him. Like, he gave this company his life for over 20 years, and he headed up like a lot of the great projects. He looked at it like this was his baby. And they just came to him, and they said, Dad, Eric's dad, I don't know if my dad's cool with me letting you know his name or not. So he just said, Eric's dad, see you later. Thank you for all your work. Goodbye. That was it. And that never sat well with me. And a couple of years later, my grandma was writing an autobiography, and she asked her sons to write a little prelude to it, write a little introduction to it. And my dad wrote in it, and in his little prelude, of all places, he wrote about getting fired and getting let go, getting from this job that he gave 20 years of his life. He wrote that in his intro. That told you how much it pained him, how much it hurt him, how much he just felt wronged, and he should be. So that never really sat well with me, and that was the beginnings of my misfit life. So every job I ever went to, I was always super talented. I was always super good. I always shot right to the front, whatever it was to be the best. At 16, it was a little stalker boy at a grocery store, pick and save. And I started bucking authority there, started making my bosses mad. I could tell you a bunch of stories there. I don't know how much time that you got here if you want me to share a story. You want me to share you one story from my very first job at pick and save. So, it's been a while since I told you your story. Let's just say that I was asked to do something that I didn't want to do. That was somebody else's work. And his stipulation was, we're a team here. We got to work together, team. And I did all my work. I did, fast. You've probably been there. Because I'm such an awesome worker, I, finished my work really, really fast. And he's like, oh, great. Yeah, you did it. Now you got to go do my work over here. And because he was the boss, he said that's what it was. And you got to support the team. And being me, 16, I'm like, nope, not doing that. And so started kind of getting in trouble with management and all that fun stuff. And super talented, super good. And so I left that one after 9 months or so, 9 months. I don't remember. I was 16. And, so that's when I got my first job, was when my dad got laid off because we had to start bringing in some money for the family. And so I'm like, oh, looks like I got to go work. And so I ran over to pick and save there. Got my first job. And I forget what I got paid per hour. But I just didn't like being told what to do. You've been there too, Misfit. We're just stubborn. We're just like, I don't like this. I don't like this. Some people love it. Some people love the pressure off of them, just love being an employee. Hopefully it's a person or a company that they believe in, that they're on board with. They love being just part of a team, and that team's got a leader and they're going places with that, and they're on board with that. I don't know. And then there's some people probably like you and me that just don't like being told what to do. We're okay being part of a team. We're okay doing that. But as long as we know, we have freedom, we have a say in our own life. We get to determine our own day. There's something about that, whether we start the day or we start a work and we I get to work on whatever it is I want to work on. Jobs feel like prisons to us. And so there was that. Then at McDonald's, and I switched on over to McDonald's. I had a best buddy that was working there. and he got me a job over there, and then he left like 2 weeks later. I forget what, he didn't like working at all or anything like that. So I was up there for going into my early adult life. That was for, I don't know what my time frame is now, 17 to something. And there, worked all my way up. That I actually loved pretty much. I got around a group of great people, my friends. I made awesome friends with everybody, and work felt like I was going to go play. I was going to go hang out with my friends, and we still had to do work. But again, I started kind of like bucking authority a little bit. Managers loved me. I was always like the best. We had like the drive-through window order taker, and I was super good at multitasking. And apparently I'm not supposed to be super good at multitasking. It's like 1 out of 50 people are good at it, and that 1 out of 50 people is usually a woman. But I was pretty good at like managing a bunch of stuff at once, like taking this order, taking over there, and the drive-through was like really high octane, fast paced, and whichever station I was at, I was always like the best. And so managers always loved me, and I liked my managers. I had a bunch of pretty cool managers there, and so how it went then and worked the way up. And what they usually do with the best employees is they promote them and give them more responsibility and all that fun stuff. And worked my way up. This is just a little low dunk McDonald's, but it was like the number 2, 3. That's not saying much. This is McDonald's, mind you. And they pretty much, if you're there the longest, that's who they decide to move up. But again, I was kind of bucking authority towards the end. My manager, the GM there, the whole place, and then my boss's boss just didn't like them very much. And I thought a lot of them were assholes, and they started kind of turning asshole-ish, and I was seeing a better way of how it could be done, and I was like, this is how we got to do it. And I would do it, and it would work out better. And then they would be, they didn't like that because, no, you're going against it. You're going against the procedures, SOP, standard operating procedures. And those procedures are there for a reason. I get it. This is the turnkey operation. If you go back and read the book E-Myth Revisited, like they already got the answers to the tests already figured out. Like they're like, they give you the answers. Here, don't go off and do your own thing. Don't be a rebel. Don't be a renegade. We got it figured out. And something about that didn't sit well with me. And I'm like, I think it'd work better if we do this. So I would go off and do that. I was kind of like Better Call Saul in season 2. And as we go along, I got so many lessons about Better Call Saul. I'm actually writing a book right now on Better Call Saul of all the brilliant business lessons, the hidden secrets pertaining to business and marketing and selling in that show. That's like, you can just watch that show and get an education instead of going to college for a whole bunch of years. Like, just seriously, just watch Better Call Saul. But remember Better Call Saul with the lawyers? Like, he ran off and he did the commercial, and it worked out great, but the lawyers didn't like it. They're like, what are you doing? Da, 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 da. So that's how I was feeling. And so it worked out great, but they're like, no, you're supposed to do it this way. So it never sat right. And so I left McDonald's. I had a job supposedly lined up. How much time you want I got? You want me to tell you a really bad story about me bucking authority for McDonald's that affected my life, my trajectory from there on out? It's going to lead to my first experience in the MLM world, and kind of what led me down this path right here. This one instance, this one bucking authority, led me down to the path that I'm talking to you right now, Misfit. So I had I was second shift, and there's always like this is at McDonald's now, and there's always like the rivalry with like first shift, and so I was with second shift. She was supposed to, the first shift manager was supposed to like do a bunch of stuff, and she didn't do it, and it says she was very lazy. She just like sitting in the office and eating all her McDonald's types food, and I don't know what she's doing today, and chances are she's not listening to this, so we can kind of talk bad about her if we want. I was like 17, 18, and so I don't know what was going on. But I did something that was pretty stupid, and she didn't do her work, and so my friend, my fellow manager, who was the second nighttime manager, I was off that day. She had to stay at home. or I had to stay at home, sorry, and she worked that night, and she had to stay like way, way, way late on her shift in order to do all of her work. You know how it goes. Man, that stuff happens like all day long at companies, at businesses. It's always that rivalry, first shift, second shift. And I was defending my friend because she like had to get up early for school, and so I was defending my friend. So I wrote like a kind of bad note to our manager, the GM of the place, kind of saying, can you have a talk with that manager? And I said like a thing that I'm not very proud of, in that I said, all she likes to do is sit in her butt in the office there and eat stuff, and it was very cruel. I did, and I super apologized. Like, I was way out of line. I was way wrong on that part. Like, there's just a much, much better way to do it, and it's my mistake. Like, I messed up big time on that front. And so I like taped up this note, and like I put like for Nancy. Nancy was the GM at the time, just for Nancy on the outside of the note for Nancy to read. And so what did she do? The other, I forget her name, this first shift manager. We'll call her, what's her name? We'll say Barb. No, because there was a Barb that worked there, and Barb was cool as shit. We'll say, I don't know. Let's say Deb. We'll just say Deb. That could be her real name. I don't know if it is or not. And this is nothing against girls named Deb out there. This is just what's coming to my mind right now. So this Deb girl, and she goes ahead and reads the note that's addressed to her superior, and so she goes and she goes after Nancy and says like, what's he doing writing this note? Da, da, da. So she had it out for me after that. She was like retaliated towards me after that. She did not care for me at all after that, and I was kind of in trouble for it. And I'm like, what's she doing reading a note that's addressed to her manager? Like, how's that not illegal? Like, the McDonald's illegal. Like, how she have any grounds to stand on? And I there's like way, way, way better ways I could have gone about it. Like, this is totally my F up, my mistake. And so, anyways, I started. This is at when I was top of the level there, and I was kind of bucking authority a little bit. And again, I was always seeing a better way, and I knew what my soul's calling was, even at that point. And I didn't know what I was supposed to do or anything like that. I had no idea. It was all just focused on college and school at the time. Yes, I was in college when I was going through McDonald's. And so I came down to leave it, and I was getting ready to leave McDonald's, and I had a job lined up over at, it was a Menards. It was like a factory type job, Menards, that started off paying really, really good and zero responsibility. That's kind of what I was stressed and getting stressed out. So it was more, I was kind of sick of all the problems getting heaped on me and going through the politics of it all. And you've been there too, Misfit. So you know what's going on. And I just want to be stress free, and so I got away from it. And a job was supposed to be lined up for me. It was an automatic shoe-in. Like, my girlfriend I was seeing at the time, she got in right away, and her brother was like one of the bosses there, and not in the department we were going after, but he knew the guy that was doing the hiring, and so I applied too, and I thought it was like automatic shoe-in. So I quit McDonald's and jumped on over there and applied, and no callback. Like, what's going on here? Come to find out that the guy doing the hiring for that department, and I'm going like, I had my savings that were, hold on. Oh, I almost was an accident. Oh, I had a garbage truck that was backing up right in front of me, and I did not take evasive. Did you hear that? I had to take evasive action, and I don't think the garbage truck even guy saw me. Just backing straight up. Woo! That was tight. Shoot, I lost my train of thought. Where was I? Oh, so, yeah, I really lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, so I was watching the savings dwindle a little bit, and I'm like, I'm supposed to get a job, so I'm calling up the Renards again, and nothing's happening. I'm like, oh, no, what's going on? It's like, this is supposed to automatic shoe-in and all that fun stuff. And come to find out that the guy doing the hiring for that department I applied to, yeah, that's Deb's brother. Yeah, how's that for timing? How's that for insane coincidences? And he sees on the old application, McDonald's worked over there. So he calls up his sister. He's like, hey, is that the McDonald's that you work at? And she's like, yes. I got this Eric guy here, this Spiegel guy. And do you happen to know him? And she goes off. No, don't hire him. He's a dirtbag. Yeah. So I kind of freaking out a little bit. Open up the classifieds. I don't know if anybody reads newspapers anymore. The classifieds. This is in early 2000s. Somewhere between 2000 and 2005. I don't remember when it was. And so she opens it up. I open up the paper, and I'm looking for a job. And there is says, hey, work from home opportunity or something like that, blah, blah, blah. Make this much money on this many hours, work from home, da, da, da. I don't know what words and what copy that they use in those ads or anything like that. But I'm like, what the heck? So I gave a call, and you requested some information. So I requested some information, and I got a little pack. And this pack's got brochures, it's got a couple videos on it. And it didn't, they broke one of the rules already. I don't know how they're doing it today, but it was at Herbalife. They're selling the opportunity to sell Herbalife. And I don't know how they're conducting business today, but their little pack did nothing for me except present the opportunity. Presented. And there was just like a whole bunch of testimonials. There's a whole bunch of people like, yeah, this is what I did. Da, da, da. And then so the guy that I requested the pack from, that information from, then gets me on the phone and sells me on the phone right there. And I had to buy the starter pack for like $300. And all the starter pack was quite a bit of a ripoff, to be honest with you. I apologize to Herbalife. I don't know how they're conducting things nowadays. I get approached by the guys all the time, but I'm just not. It's a great product, and I'm sure it's helping out lots and lots of people. Like that beginning experience with that just still doesn't sit well with me, and I kind of see how they could do things better, and I selling their stuff would just feel like too much employee knowledge. But at the time, it was awesome. Like I felt opportunity. I felt like, oh my gosh, like I can create my own income. And that's when the seed was planted. I'll tell you a little bit more what's going on. But it was, they had me read a book. It was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I read that book, and I read it once, and those lessons in there never left me. It was just like, it was like a seed that was planted that just continued to grow and grow and grow. And I'll tell you where it really sprouted. I'll tell you where it really sprung up. And I actually read the book and then started diving in. I just followed their steps that they laid out, and it was starting off. This is like pre-internet days. Internet was sort of there, but not like it was as far as like advertising and marketing like we do nowadays. To get the name out, yeah, it was classified ads. It was, and then a whole lot of face-to-face. It was a whole lot of, and I was super scared at the time, and so it was like going around flyers. I had these little like pockets. It was like yellow or green with like, hey, lose weight now, call this number. And so I set up the line. It's brilliant marketing how they do it. And I would just go, I'm going to teach you like how you go about it a better way than just saying lose weight now, call this number, and then they call up and leave a number and leave their information, and it's up to us to call them back. Like, thanks to today's technology and the route that we can guide a customer on, like there's just a way better way awesome way, a more funner way, because those are, whether you like it or not, those are ads, and those are what's called direct response ads, but they're not really doing anything because we can choose to ignore them nowadays, these ads. So what I was doing with these little those like little card deck sides things, says lose weight now, there's like these little plastic containers, and I guess that was in the starter kit, and like the templates and the thing. I'd go cut them out, and then I'd run around town and put them up everywhere. I put them in like by urinals. I put them up like wherever people were hanging out at. I like taped them up everywhere, and I had no idea what I was doing. I was just following what my coach was saying, and I had to go get a second line. I had to like continue to spend money. I had to like open up another second line, and then the really kicker was, I had to buy their own product. I had to buy like $1,000 of their own product, and then I had to go off and sell it. And that's how they did things in the beginning. I do believe they're way better now, like where they just it's basically like a drop ship method where you just call up and drop ship, and they just we're just the order takers and they take care of it. It's just a beautiful process. And so I ended up like trying to sell, and ended up getting a few people on the phone and going through the script and calling the script and talking about it, and it was fun. It was so much fun. I was so scared, but it was so much fun because I'm like, I get to create my income, and it did something to me. It like kindled something in me. I felt something. I felt alive for the first time like ever. Like school, I didn't really care for school. I hated it. My jobs, I hated. Anyways, I started that on the side, and I also picked up another job, a second job, and where it was at Menards, but it was like a different division. It was like an offshoot of Menards. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to confuse you there, but I ended up picking up a second job, and again, it was like more and more money was invested, and I was really scared of selling on the phone. I was like always scared of selling like my whole life, and it's a problem that has continued to follow me up until I did something about it, and that's what I'll share with you. So there it was, and I kind of make a decision. Money was getting tight, and I had money coming in from my job, but zero money coming in from the Herbalife, but I had so much fun, and my coach guy was okay. I had to like jump on the conference lines and like do all that fun stuff, and I was using the product myself. I had a whole bunch of weight to lose, and so I was on the product myself. Like I actually went and turned pretty fat during my time of unemployment. All I did was like sit around and play video games and drink pop, so I got a little bit of fat. So Herbalife helped there. And so I had to make a decision, and then work was piling up at school, and kind of make a decision about whether to keep pursuing Herbalife or to go after school. And I really wanted to pursue Herbalife, but I was running out of money, and my credit cards were already there, and I was working part-time at the Menards job there, and just time and money was getting tight, so I chose school. I went against the rich dad, poor dad philosophy. And okay, 1 second. I gotta speed up here just for a second. I'm in the wrong lane. I'm in like just the turn right lane. Okay. Whoom. I was in the way wrong lane. And so I let go of Herbalife. I cut my losses, and it was a tough decision, and just started working more hours at the job there. And even at the job, like just completely miserable, but like I needed money. Like that's kind of how it was. And looking back, like there's probably ways I could have gone about it where it wasn't like, we like to think it's like one or the other. Like we want this rah, like this or that decision. And we're like, got to leave the employment, got to quit my job and pursue my dream and all that fun stuff. And dude, you just work on this on the side. Like if it's a job, if it's a career, like if you go 4-hour work week style where you want to create an income on just working 4 hours a week that you can live off of, like create like a teacher salary income, like or 50,000, 60,000, but you only work like 2 hours a week and you got nothing but time and freedom. Then once it's like, you just practice building that. You just practice doing that on the side, because if it's an income that's bringing you money and you got to work like 50 hours a week, then that's going to be a problem. So you just practice working that on the side. You just build it up on the side. And you just do a whole bunch of work in the beginning, and that way it just continues to pay and pay. We'll talk more about the business lessons as we go on and how we conduct things. But that's a big myth. That's a big, like, there's no reason why we can't just do it on the side. Just work on this on the side. Just like, even if it's an hour a week, just work on an hour a week. And so I thought it was like one or the other. Like, all right, I got to choose school. Like, there's no reason instead of investing like 30 hours a week in Herbalife, I couldn't have just did it 2 hours a week and just had a good talk with the coach. And to tell you the truth there, Misfit, I was getting afraid. I had a couple of no's on the phone, and I got that feeling. I've had that feeling of rejection, that scaredness of rejection my whole life, and that just like really, really exasperated it. Really made it worse. And so I left it go there and just continued to work at Menards and worked there for a bunch of years. And again, bucking authority, and just never sat well with me. But I could see the end in sight. By that time, I got the fire, losing a whole bunch of weight, And the process of losing weight, like, it was my own transformation. I was about 80-ish pounds overweight, and I love. So I started losing weight. I got my heart broken around. I don't know when it was. This was about 12 years ago-ish or so. I got my heart broken, and so I. Excuse me. Got my heart broken, and so I blamed the weight on this heartbroken stuff. So I was like, I gotta lose this weight, and I'm gonna win her back, and I'm gonna live happily ever after. So I started down the path of working out all the time, eating right, and Herbalife helped. Like, just kind of gave me. I used their product a little bit, not too much. I think I was drinking like their green tea or something. And they're good stuff. They're good products and everything. And so I started losing weight and loving life after the process. I was super dark, deep in depression, like suicidal depression after she broke up with me, because this was my first breakup. And so I all of a sudden had a new fire for life. Like, I was fired up, going through and getting progress every week. Every week, like, I was going to be better than the week before, and I love that feeling. And so I just continue to, like, knowing that I was going to be sexier. I was going to be thinner. I was going to be doing more weights in the gym. I was going to be doing more reps. And that fed something in me. I don't know if you're familiar with Tony Robbins' six needs of us humans, and one of them is growth. Growth and contribution. And us misfits are very high in the growth and contribution, those last two. And most people are not those two, growth and contribution. Most people are, like, trying to feed the other four and just trying to get by on the feeding the other four. And so we don't fit in with everybody else. Like, we just kind of feel different. We just feel like an outsider a little bit. So when I got broken up there, and my growth, I was feeding my growth need in me, and I loved it. And so other people were like, what do I do? Like, oh, what are you doing? I want what you're having. What do I do? Just tell me what to do. So I gave them workouts. I gave them diet plans. I, like, coached a lot of them for free. I personal trained a lot of them for free. And then eventually it was like, Eric, you got to do this for life. You're really good at this, personal training stuff. And immediately the imposter syndrome, because I got that going on too. Imposter syndrome and the fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of unknown. Like, I ran far away. Like, I was super into video games, and even when I was playing video games, like, I didn't know if I'd be good at the video game or not. Like, I thought I'd suck at it and playing video games, so I would, like, avoid playing a video game until I couldn't take it anymore, and then I was like, all right, I gotta play it. And then, of course, I would suck, but then it would get better and better and better. And because that's tied into that as well. Even in a video game where like, results don't matter. It's all make-believe in there. So, yeah, I was kind of messed up. And I had a lot of damaged goods, a lot of issues going on, and that I never really applied myself to look over health coaching. For you, I am sorry. And I think I'm going the right way. Yeah, I'm going the right way. Great. I'm in, like, right outside of Wisconsin. Oh, I know where I am. Right outside Turtle Lake right now. Going to a cool town, Milltown. That's where I'm headed. So that led me. I ended up turning into a personal trainer, switch everything over in college to be a personal trainer, and I realized that would have been fun, and I thought it would be, like, super profitable, and it could have, except it flied right in the face of sales and selling. And so I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. So I ended up graduating and becoming a personal trainer at a gym there. And the fear ended up getting to me, and quit Menards by this time. Couldn't wait to quit Menards and start personal training. And that was so much fun. Personal training is so much fun. It was so much fun doing good for other people and knowing that my hard work gives them results that they can take home with them, that's results for them that they can feel better about. That fed something in me. That fed my soul's knowing. Our souls always have, like, a knowing, and it's our job just to listen to it and follow through on it. And a lot of times it's leading to fear, and we just have to be courageable and work through that fear. That fear is always going to be there. And so I got really in trouble when, I started sucking at selling and sucking at sales. I was super shy. I was really bad at the selling part, and I could kind of get around it in the gym I was at. I could kind of work around it, but again, when you let the fear win, misfit, and that's why I'm talking to you today, because I am here to on a mission to make sure that not only a million, but a mission to make sure that you're not giving into that fear, because that fear it's like a glass of clean water. It's like a drop of oil. It just spreads to everything in our life. And that fear was winning more and more every day. And I started affecting my mojo. It started affecting my confidence. It started affecting who I was. And no longer did, of course, I sucked balls at selling, I didn't understand marketing, and even worse, but I started affecting my belief in myself. This is when the imposter syndrome got really, really strong. My belief in myself to actually even get results for my clients. So now I felt like I was lying, because I'm like, I'm going to try to sell them on something that I don't know if I can even accomplish anymore. I was just messed up. And so money started getting tight. So I took a job on the side at a gas station, and that really, really aggravated it. I just wanted money. Instead of like being a man and being brave like you are today, Misfit, I could have just hit that fear head on and figure out what's going on here and just like fight through it. I could have read a bunch of self-development books. I could have read a whole bunch. I could have gone back and read Rich Dad Poor Dad. This whole time I didn't even open up one sales book, because I felt like selling was evil, and like I could have got better at selling, and that could have got better with my confidence and my mojo, and could have beat up my imposter syndrome, which was getting stronger and stronger every day. Like, it was the point where I'm in a crowd and I'm like in the gym, and I'm like, don't approach me, don't approach me, don't approach me. I was like running away from sales. I was running away from customers, just because it was like I was getting reminded of my failures and all that non-fun stuff. So I took a job on the side at a gas station. I got a dumb little 9-to-5 job, and that really, really set her off. That really, really made it worse. And now my soul's knowing really, really called out. Like, did not like that at all. And again, my entrepreneur spirit just got right back to being lit up. Right back to being told what to do, like nothing changed. In fact, it got even worse. And this one story that happened at the gas station that really, really, like, I could never shut off my marketing brain, could never shut off my business brain, I could never shut off these ideas were just coming to me. And it's one of my strengths. I'll have you read the book, Strength Finders 2.0. But it's one of my strengths is to be good at generating ideas. Ideas just like flow to me, boom, 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 like a river. And it's become a problem when I started my own businesses. And so what ended up happening is I had ideas of how the gas station could like increase relations with the customers, increase sales and whatnot. And I had this idea that I'm like, oh, this is a great idea. And so I submitted this idea to my boss's boss, like the application we fill out. And there was like something where, hey, if you got an idea and it's really cool, we'll give you $25. And it's like, oh, cool, yeah, I could make $25 on the side. And so I had this idea, and for me, I just love that. I was like I had this idea, and if it comes to, like, if they actually partake in that idea, they actually use it and go with it, like, that was just thinking about that just fired me up with so much excitement, and I couldn't wait. And so this idea gets submitted to, and it's actually like a really, really brilliant idea, and I don't want to tell it to you right now. Well, I'll tell it to you later. It's a really, really brilliant idea, and it's kind of a long story, and I don't want to make this go any longer. I got about 7 more minutes, and then I gotta bounce out, and I'll finish the stories with you from there. But I had this great idea, and so I submitted it, and my boss's boss read it and was like, "What's this?" So he calls up my boss and says, "Did one of your employees submit this idea?" And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she like puts down the phone and she asked me, Eric, did you submit an idea to corporate or whatever it was, like their bosses, corporate, whatever, I forget what they call it. And I'm like, yeah. It's about this and that. And I was talking about that idea like all that day with all my coworkers, and like I was just super excited about it. Like, oh, it'd be so awesome when this happens. I was just fired up about it. And she proceeds to put down. She goes, oh, I guess he did do it, and she kind of like tries to justify herself. She was a big. No offense to that manager at all. She's a great person, but she's a monumental butt kisser. She's a monumental suck up, and she throws people underneath the bus left and right just so she can look better in front of her superiors. She's a pretty good person, but there's things I don't agree with on her management side of things. And that's when the problem started all over again, Misfit. And so she puts down the phone and she hangs up. She gets done talking to him, and she proceeds to yell at me for not letting her know about this and for her looking bad a little bit. And so that, again, never felt right with me. This is totally my fault. This is not her at all. What happened after that? And what happened there is what happened is I'm super nervous to tell you about this, but we gotta share it, Health Misfit. We gotta share it because it's who we are. We gotta share our mistakes. We gotta share our goof ups. And I'm super not proud of what I did. An opportunity came up at that gas station there for me to take some money. And for me, it wasn't even about the money. It wasn't even about what I was going to spend the money on. I actually didn't spend any of it. What I did actually, the money I took, I gave to my friends and my family that were struggling for money. I gave them the money, but I stole it. I flat up admit I stole it, and I felt awful about it, and it started affecting who I was. I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't be around anybody. My imposter syndrome got really, really bad. But what I think it was is it fed something in my entrepreneur spirit. It was like the fact that no one. It felt like I was like kind of I was like my little get back at the managers and then her managers, who of course I hated. It was almost like I felt like Robin Hood a little bit, knowing this is revenge for you making me, for yelling at me and throwing me underneath the bus all those times. But it's totally not their fault. It was totally on me. This is totally that's one rule that we got to live by, Misfits. If we want to make this right, if we want to go on and do good in this world with these powers that we're given, is we have to own it. We have to take responsibility for it. And because when we do that, we can do something about it. We can change it. We can grow from it. We can get better from it. So I knew it. I had to get around that the wrong way. I was blaming her, my bosses, the bosses' bosses. I was blaming the gas station. I was blaming society. I was blaming all those bleep hole customers that I hate it. I hated my existence, but most of all, I hated myself. I hated myself because all this time. Oh, I didn't get the story about what happened with me at the personal training side of things, and so I knew what would have to happen was I had to go off. I was bucking authority at the personal training side at the gym, the club there, and so I knew I had to go off on my own. I knew I had to start my own thing, but I was scared too. I was scared. I was afraid. I was afraid of rejection. I was afraid of being on my own. I was afraid of what I didn't know, and of turning it all off. I didn't have belief in myself. I didn't have confidence in myself that I could actually do it, and more so even have a successful business, but more so have a successful get results with my clients. I just didn't believe that in myself, and we have to. If you got that fear going on, Misfit, you just got to go for it. We're gonna learn. And you're just going to follow everything that I'm doing now. And you're just going to do what I tell you. And you're going to be scared. And it's going to be okay when you are scared. So anyways, I took the money. And for me, it was going to job that now I could control. Long story short, what I was doing. This is a super long story now. I was just skimming. It was just orders were coming in, and I got arrested for this. It's all totally public. It's all totally open. I totally owned it. Ended up getting forgiven by the state, by the governments, and that's a crazy, crazy story there on that front. I'll tell you all about that. It was very where, I don't know if you want to call it the God or the universe or what have you, but something happened that was really rocked my world, really rocked my foundation, where I was I was saved, and I should be in prison right now because of what I did. I should be in jail, but for some reason I was saved, and I do believe I was saved so that I could help you, Misfit, to help you not make the mistakes that I did, for you to go on. I do believe that you're supposed to do good with this power that you've been given. Yeah, that's why Spider-Man, we're such fans of Spider-Man, because you're supposed to do with it. So there was, and I got busted, totally busted, but it was going to work each day, knowing I could kind of, even though it wasn't my money, but knowing I left with money I was able to control. It was going back to those Herbalife days where it was the harder I work, the more. And this is pretty messed up. But the version of work of getting this money here was skimming. Was the money coming in, like I would just delete an order and the cash is there, and I would just pocket the cash, and they had loopholes in the security, and I used my powers, my entrepreneur powers, and my idea generating brain to do a bad thing. And it's not the real crime. Why I'm so open and talking to you about it, Misfit, is my real crime was the fact that I was not using these powers I've been given for good, to help you out on your journey, to get to whatever it is that you're going for. That's the real crime. That's the real injustice of it all. And what I did was wrong for sure, but it pales in comparison to me abusing my powers and me abusing my gifts, me not using these gifts and powers and my teaching ability and my accelerated learning processes to help you out on your journey. I wasn't doing that. I wasn't abiding by that law, by that rule. So I'll share with you how I ended up in this boat. I don't know how much deeper you want to go from that. So I started kind of a couple of businesses on the side. I'll tell you all about those. A lot of them failed, to be honest with you. But I was out there. I was out there doing it, and I'll share with all those next time. I'm going to pause on you now, and we'll pick up that in just a second. And I'm back. That was pretty interesting. A lot of stuff just happened to me, Misfit, since I left you. And where to leave off? So I just got arrested, right? And learned my lesson, and had a very strange occurrence. I don't know what you call it, like a presence, a calm came over me, and it was saying how I was freaking out, and it was saying how that it's all going to be okay, that we're going to use this to go change the world. We're going to go use this to benefit people. And I'll go in more detail on that later. But for now, let's go into now me jumping into this nice little world of business, entrepreneurship, and starting my own way. And for some it started with the book, to be honest with you. And it started with me grabbing a job where I was able to listen to stuff while I was working. And so I started listening to some. It all started with a book. I opened up, I think I went to Amazon, and I want to know if it was possible to start making how to make money. And so I'm thinking about the rest of my life. This is before the charges were dropped. I was actually facing a long many years for what I did. And so I was kind of freaking out. And so I think even if I did it, I was thinking about being a con for the rest of my life and being a felon for the rest of my life. And I was wondering what I would do. And I realized I would probably have to make my own company, make my own business, make my own way. And since I can no longer go to employers, say, hey, what do me? I was reading a lot of forums about ex-cons that were like denied jobs left and right, and makes sense. And I did probably like the worst crime of them all, stealing like what employer would take that. And I was still kind of in the employee mindset. I still didn't understand what I was supposed to do. I still didn't understand my powers. And who's got the money? The businesses. And how you get the money? Well, you go work for the businesses. And all of a sudden, I read a book, and so I went to Amazon, and I forget what it was, but the one book that popped up, I think it was Think and Grow Rich, and it was for $1. And I'm like, Think and Grow Rich. And I knew about The Secret already. I knew all about that. I never practiced it. I never got into it too much, but I knew of it, and I knew the power of thoughts, and watched The Secret and the documentary, but I never really took it anywhere beyond that. Yeah. So then what I did is it was for $1, and I'm like, well, it's just $1. I don't really got nothing to lose. So I bought the book, and it did something. Reading it was so strange. It was like that guy's thoughts, Napoleon Hill, was like right in front of me, and everything in that book was just it was the concept of thinking and whatnot. And so that's why that book is on our list. and it's right there near the top. And you go talk to any entrepreneur and any business person, and it always kind of ties it down to that book and what that book did, and it triggered something. I can't quite explain. Like it, all of a sudden I could feel my entrepreneur spirit, like winding up a little bit. It's like a flame, and that flame, the coals are died. I don't know if that makes the coals are like that. Let's say you're at a fireplace or a fire pit or out camping, and there's your wood and your coals, and kind of dies down, and you grab the poker or something like that, and you poke it a little bit, and it kind of fires. Kind of sings it a little bit and kind of gets a little bit red hot. That's kind of what it felt like. I felt like a stirring. I felt like it was just a feeling like I am onto something here. This is it. And that feel, I read the book front to back, and had a lot of like stuff for us to do, and a couple of the chapters were like really, really good. And I'll explain all in if you're in the journey yet, if you're in the course yet, I kind of explain it all in there about us in these books that we read, and kind of explain it a little bit, and I kind of shortcut a little bit in the course. Like I explain like the big key takeaways in each book, so that way, when you do read it, you know what you're looking for. You know the cool points when you are reading the book, and so on the misfit journey, if you are one of our misfits here, going on this journey with us to 1 million. And so when I was so Amazon likes to do, I finished that book, and as Amazon likes to do, it says that also recommend this book. And the next book that popped up was 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And I'm like, interesting, 4-hour workweek. I'm like, that would be nice if I could just work 4 hours. And it felt a little hypey to me. It felt a little infomercial-y to me. But I'm like, Scott, what do I got to lose? I can read it, and like I can learn a couple things that instead of like the ideas. I was looking for concepts and ideas. And so I started reading that book, and again, it just fired. I just couldn't get enough. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really real. What that book does is it pulls the curtain back on the life of the rich. And in the book, he calls it the new rich. And he kind of breaks it down like the old way was we work, retire, save. And at the end of our life, then we get to enjoy all our fruits of our labor when rather worse is health, worse is mobility. And even if we make it that far, and we kind of like hope and a prayer by the end. He says, dude, you just set it up now. Work hard for a couple months or so, and then take off for a couple months. You enjoy your vacation now. You enjoy your time off now. And because you don't do the 2-week vacations, he's like, no, you plan it into your year. You plan it into it. And he shows you how to do it step for step, just insane detail. And so I was super excited. I was learning lessons. And one of the businesses I was working for there, I realized how they were doing things, and I'm like, this is a lesson that they can learn. Like they're already in the customer serving, and I'm like, do you know about the rule of 80-20? Do you know about this rule? How 20% of your customers are responsible for 80% of your income. Do you know who your 20% customers are? And I started giving them lessons out of the book, and they were just eating it up and loving it, and I don't think they ended up applying it into their business, but I just love teaching them. I love showing them, and So I was teaching it to one of the owners. I was teaching that lesson to one of the owners there, and he's like, Tim Ferriss. Oh, do you know about EO Fire? EO Fire. And I'm like, well, so by this time I'm Tim Ferriss's. I'm like, okay, how can I create like my own Tim Ferriss business? He calls it the Muse. And so I looked at what I was already good at, personal training. And I wasn't even sure if I wanted to get back into personal training. Like, my fire kind of died down there with that. That's a long story there that kind of involves me talking negatively about my old employers, and I'd rather not do that. But I wasn't even sure. I just felt like an employee so much. Like, it was that's what it was more about. Like, once I went off on my own, then it was like rekindled. Then it was reignited. And a little burnt out about it was the same speeches over and over again, and all that fun stuff. So then I started my own online training business, because I realized when everybody was getting results, it wasn't because of the workouts, it wasn't because of the diets, it was more about the mindset type of things. It was more about, it was the nutrition diet, but it was more like a coach, keeping them held accountable for it. And so I set up a system where I can just coach them, and I didn't have to be there in person. And now they call it online training. This was about, depending on when you're listening to this was a couple years ago. Now it's like online training is really, really starting to take off. And so I was just like a little bit ahead of my time. And that requires a little different perspective to be kind of good at marketing. I'm really good at selling. So I started just delving into the marketing side of stuff, just to get that business going. And I ran right into the same problems I had when I was a regular personal trainer. I was scared to ask for the sale. I was still procrastinating. It was still kind of feeling like work. And it was work the closer I got to the sale, the more I was scared and put it off and didn't want to do it, and it had to be perfect and all that fun stuff. And it was kind of successful, that first business, first online business, and it's gone through a few iterations since then, many iterations since then, just to kind of find my place in the market and who it is that I'm actually serving. And I look at it as like a failure, but more as like a learning point. And I got something going. I just needed to know that I got something going. And had I not gotten going, I would have never known that I was still afraid of asking for the sale. Even when it's online, even when it's like a digital means of asking for the line, even when it's like paper, like words on a paper asking for the sale. It's called a sales letter, a sales page, where you say, click here, add to cart. I was still scared. And so through that, I ended up discovering my boss and asked me if I knew about EO Fire, an entrepreneur on fire, John Lee Dumas. And I'm like, well, what's that? It's a podcast. And I'm like, well, what's a podcast? Kind of knew what a podcast was. My experience with podcasting before was one episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where what's the guy and his girl, and his sister started their podcast with like they funny sounds, and they're just gonna talk back and forth and be funny, and they up yelling at each other. And Dennis and D. And so that's all I knew about podcasts. I had no idea this world was going on. And I'm like, well, I got the app. And so I downloaded EO Fire, and that led me to listening to, I'm like, this is a really good podcast. And like hearing about entrepreneurs, like a couple of them would pop on that just sounded super interesting. So I go look them up and find out more information about it. And it was an entrepreneur on fire, EO Fire, he talked about at the end of it, he's like, you can go get your free book at audible.com. And so I'm like, oh, Audible? Like an audio book? So I'm like, I didn't know that was an app that I could do that. So sure enough, I went into Audible, and in the first audio book that I got on Audible, because you signed up with Johnny Lee Dumas there, and you got a free book, and we'll probably have something for this podcast, but as of now we don't. So just heads up on that front, just because it's just huge investment. It just works for us. And so what it is my first book. I bought Audible, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I listened to it while I was working. I had many hours a day where I just nothing to do but listen to the radio and think and all that fun stuff. And it was a little different than what I'm doing right now. It wasn't a little. It was more like a courier service. It was more like picking up food, dropping off food, taking people around for taxis, and now it's morphed into where it's a medical transport, where it's like an Uber but for medical rides. And I don't really need to do that anymore, but it makes things interesting on the side. It helps me get out of the house, helps me get out of the office, it helps me record these to you, and again, it helps me keep listening to those podcasts and those audiobooks. So that's why I still kind of doing it on the side a little bit. And so Rich Dad, Poor Dad, one of the guests that was on, this led me to another failed business. One of the guests that was on was, I've had a bunch of failed businesses, and I don't know how much detail you want me to talk about these failed businesses. And well, one of them was, he had a guest on that was an Amazon seller guy, and so he opened himself up to a webinar where he was going to show you the 5 steps to getting your Amazon store going. And it sounded really exciting, really fun. And to be honest with you, Misfit, I, again, was scared to ask for the sale, and I never want to do anything with it. So I'm like, yes, this is great. I don't have to ask for the sale. Again, I was kind of running away from the fear. I just still wasn't smart enough like you are today. I didn't know, like, I thought, like, fear, I'm just supposed to avoid it. It's painful. It's fear. I got to avoid it. And eventually I worked up the courage, and I had a bunch of successes and a bunch of wins where I worked up the courage to doing it. And again, I just kind of faced it. I knew the letting the fear win was ruining my life. And so I started this Amazon e-com business through Amazon, and it kind of worked. Like, it was successful, and it was working really good because I found out that I was actually pretty good at the writing stuff. I always knew I was good at writing, but as far as they call it copy, when you write words on a page, and so I was actually really good at writing in the Amazon. When you click on your product and it tells you a little about it, all I did was, like, share stories. I told jokes, and I was just like, my goal is, like, don't be boring. Don't be boring. And one of the guests that was on EO Fire, I forget her name. Shoot, she's like a branding expert, and I'll find you her name in the book. Is really, really good. And she said a statement in there that was, like, immensely, immensely powerful. She goes, being different is better than being better. Being different is better than being better. So I, like, put up the description page. I'm like, I'm just going to be different. I'm just going to, we only get attention by standing out. Like, if you look around, if you read the book, Seth Godin's Purple Cow, but he's looking out and he's seeing all these cows, and all of a sudden he sees a purple cow. He's like, guess who's got the attention? And attention is step one as far as turning prospects and strangers into buyers. Is first you got to get their attention. And if you look like everybody else, and you sound like everybody else, how do you stand out? Like, they're not going to be picking you. And so Reels is pretty good at it. So I, like, sold out of my product right away. And how Amazon works is you buy them in China. And it's the tale as old as time, the old business. You buy at a discount, sell at a profit. And so I just bought them, like, on bulk order at China and shipped it all over and shipped it over to Amazon. And then Amazon puts it up in their store. And it's up to you to kind of, like, do some marketing, do some stuff to get your product in front of the prospects. And Amazon's got their algorithm about who goes first or second and all that fun stuff. And so I like, sold out right away and ran out. So I bought a bunch of more. And then I was kind of stuck in that little limbo where it was like climbing the mountain. Like, I climbed the mountain, it was there, and then I didn't have enough product to back it up, so I kind of fell down. So I kind of, like, gained 2 steps, lost 1, gained 2, lost 1. And did that for a little bit. Eventually, I got nailed with it failed where the product I was ordering one shipment had a faulty defect in it. And to be honest with you, it was one of the best things that ever happened because it was starting to turn into a job. I created myself a job. It wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't fun. It was nice getting a little ding, 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 sale. And that was kind of fun. It was like felt like I was kind of winning the lottery, like I was gambling, and, like, you pull the lever and you win. But it was like something that the win-win-wins that I originated with. And I get how people get addicted, but I did not like the stress of the back and forth. I did not like the stress that, and again, my entire business was wrapped up in somebody else's control. Amazon had me by the balls. And the manufacturer of all those products had me by the balls, and it ended up costing me. I ended up breaking even on that. I don't know if it's a failure or, like, it didn't work out, like, because I ended up getting shut down from Amazon just because that product got shipped down. I should have had other products. I should have, like, diversified and all that fun stuff that they do, but I was just focused on just keeping up with that one product because my sales copy was so good. It just ding, 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 sold. And that was really good at the emails. Like, I got people's emails, and then I would, like, follow up with them and talk with them. And I got people saying, like, you're just so much fun to talk to through email. Like, everybody else they get the boring emails. Thank you for your order. It'll come, blah, blah, blah. I was like, hey, dude, what's going on with you? Like, I was, like, talking to them like they're my friend, like they're, like, my buddy. And because I just loved my customers, and I thought they're just the coolest people ever, and I was proud to serve them with my product. And so I just talked to them in email and just to say, hey, send me a story about your what's going on with you, and I kind of shared a story, like a couple of family stories and all that fun stuff in the email. So I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about business, learned a lot about econ, and that one kind of failed. And then it started a couple other ones. I got another iteration of my online personal training. That one went through a couple iterations, many iterations. And then what I learned to do was I wanted to right around the end of that year, the Amazon got hit with. I was starting to learn about funnels and this process that I'm going to be walking you through about this multi-touch system, the Be the Flower style marketing. I was starting to learn all about it. Again, I'm just cruising around, listening to hours and hours of podcasts and audios, and by this time, the audio books are in probably I've listened to well over 150 now. Because with Audible, you just put on 2x and you can crush 3 of them a day if you want. But more importantly, I listen to the great ones over and over and over again, and because it's it reaffirms what's already great, and then you pick up something new already. And one of the ones, Entrepreneur Roller Coaster, he says that it's better to read a great book 32 times than 32 average books. And it's like the old practice in your martial arts, or you're in baseball, or you're football, where you just practice, or you're in playing music, playing musical instruments. It's practice, over and over. It's just grooves that groove in there, and so I realized that it was what was scaring me, what was fearing me, and I was always asked for the sale. I'm and then I kind of opened up my own studio on the side there, opened up my own personal training, wanted to take things, because I did start to miss the in-person personal training. But again, whenever the money comes up, I got weird. And now I was I'm more so on my own. I wanted to put my marketing lessons to work, and marketing would bring them in, but then I got weird with the sale, and I sucked at selling. I gotta get good at the selling part. And so that's why I just invested heavily in the selling part, but more importantly, I just practiced. And my big step was more so the practice part was just getting over that fear. So I put myself what's called a Health Coach Fight Club journey, and I originally made it for health coaches, but it can be for anybody really. And what it is, depending on when you're listening to this, it might be ready, might not. But if you got that fear going on, I'm going to walk you through how you actually get rid of that fear, because there's a whole bunch going on with our mind, and whether it's through asking for that sale, it's fear of rejection, it's fear of unknown, it's fear of responsibility, it's fear of success, it's fear of there's money blocks going on, are we even worthy of it? We're going to always be charging so much low for our services and undervaluing ourselves because we might not feel worthy of that money coming in. And so the important step is it's a 99-day journey. It's one small action that we do for 20 seconds, and we take that action that we build up through 3 phases. We build up to where we're fine when you ask for the sale, and then from there, now it's just a matter of practicing the scripts, practicing what to say in regards to what they say, and so on and so forth. Once we're not weird when it comes to money, once we're okay putting ourselves in money talk situations of asking for the sale, then we can do something about it. But if that fear is always there, we're never going to put ourselves in situations. So phase 1 is all about getting over shyness. It's taking little, and I got the inspiration from the 4-Hour Workweek, where he talked about fear. And so he talked about being in uncomfortable situations, where one of them was being awkward, being uncomfortable. And one of the situations was when we are out in public, just get on the floor and lay down. Just get on, and everybody will look at it, and you just hop back up, and you just say, you say something funny. I was just checking the comfort levels down there. That he's got the response to say, and because immediately just thinking about that, doesn't it, Misfit? It's just all of a sudden standing apart from the crowd a little bit, it kind of hits something in you, don't it? Yeah, that's what it is. So we slowly inoculate ourselves to that fear. It's bit by bit by bit. It's like jumping in the cold pool. Instead of jumping in cannonball in, we dip our toe, and then we dip our ankle, and then we dip up our calf, and then we go to our top of our calf. We slowly build up our tolerance to it. Kind of like Princess Bride too, where the what's his face, the good guy, I can't remember. he's in that contest, battle of wits, and he drinks the poison, and he just slowly inoculate himself to that poison. It's kind of like that. Maybe we should call that instead of Health Coach Fight Club. And why I call it Fight Club is because like nobody else knows that you're on this journey. Nobody talks about it except you, and with the other misfits or the other health coaches that are in it. Because that's when I realized that I needed to get over this fear of selling and this misunderstanding and unknown of marketing, and so I started helping out health coaches too along the way, and training them on their sales and training them in their marketing and helping them get over their fear, because I didn't want what happened to me happen to any other. I was like pretending like there's a younger version of me. And if you notice, a lot of people, especially in this business and entrepreneurship world, and like me and you are in, a lot of times what we're doing, what we're motivated by is doing it for our younger self. Like it's almost like there's a younger version of us out there, and we're doing it so that they don't go through the same mistakes that we did. If you are paying attention to enough entrepreneurs and business people and super smart people that are out there trying to change, it's like they're doing stuff for their younger self, and they feel compelled to do it for like the younger version of them. For instance, 50 Shades of Grey. Have you watched that yet? Have you read the books yet? If you remember, Christian Grey is all super gung-ho, balls to the wall for doing the hunger. He's like building up inventions. He's helping feed the world, and he's got like science on his side. Kind of what Google's doing now, like trying to like grow plants really fast that don't need much sunlight and soil and all that fun stuff. That's what Christian Grey was all involved in, because he grew up severe poverty. He grew up on the streets. He grew up in hunger all the time. And so it's like he feels compelled to go down that route so that way he can help out. Nobody has to experience his pain that he went through. Excuse me. How are we doing? An hour and a half. That is a great place to stop, because that brings us to you and me, and kind of where now we're talking. And so went through had something again really, really cool happen to me just a couple months ago, and that kind of led me down this path, and I knew I was scared to do it, but again I'm winning this battle against the fear, and I'm scared to walk this path, to be honest with you, Misfit. If you're feeling that scaredness, I'm right there with you, and I understand your fear and your apprehension and whatnot. And I say it's not so much it's okay. Let that fear be there, but just choose courage instead. Choose bravery instead. Like, you don't have to like try to fight that fear so much. Just choose bravery. Choose like that one little action a day that kind of puts things in uncomfortable situations that eventually gets us there. And what like I've been in some rough days since I started this entrepreneur journey. I've been like sleepless nights, worrying about money, worrying about like if I just made the biggest mistake of my life, what's going on? I don't know. Like, should I just take a regular job? Should I just try it? Should I just settle like that? And what am I doing? I'm so stupid. And all this stuff comes up. And just panic. It's like that panic. I've had panicky nights where I'm just like, where I'm like I got like an hour of sleep, and I just like wake up and I'm like, oh God, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And really, what helps was just taking massive action, and more specifically, taking massive action towards whatever it was that really scared me at the time. I'm like, I'm already panicked. I'm already scared. What's a little bit more scaredness? It's kind of like you're outside. In the rain and you're getting wet, you're like, what's the difference if I stand there outside in the rain a little bit longer, like 5 minutes longer? Like, so, and that just like, I don't know, it's like a rebound effect when we're there, because that's always been followed up with like massive breakthroughs. And that's what kind of led me to talking to you today. Is I had a bunch of those days and those nights, and I like took some massive action that led me to you here, and I saw the path before me, and I realized what I got to do. And to be honest with you, I don't know if you want to call it the universe or God or infinite intelligence. When you read Think and Grow Rich, he calls it infinite intelligence, divine intelligence. There's just, in Star Wars, they call it the Force. There's just something out there. I don't know what it is. I'm just a man. I'm just a guy that I don't know what it is, but there's something there. And the more I was like delving into it, the more I was applying those lessons, just the more I kind of knew the path that lay before me. And then just things kind of like happen in place. It's really strange. It's really weird. And I can't explain it no other way than that right there. And I know that's a controversial subject and topic, and we'll talk about it here and there just because it's valid and its points, and it deals with this fear that we got going on, deals with this money blocks that we got going on. And we won't get like super religious. Like I grew up Catholic Christian my whole life, and so I got that. And I do believe there's something, and I got a story to tell you in a couple episodes just about why it is that we're different, what's going on with us. That kind of, it doesn't quite have to do with the woo side of this, but you'll see. So we'll get to talking about that later. Misfit, thank you for listening to me. Thank you for applying some of these lessons into your life. I hope there's something you got out of it that you can use. And just knowing that you're not alone on this path. Just knowing that you got a support of a group, and you got a support of, and I'm just one chapter ahead. That's it. And sometimes a couple chapters, and I'm here for you. I'm here to make sure that you do all your stuff, and you take care of everything, and we keep you heading to your dream, where you're heading. And because there's a reason for it. And this life is going to be amazing. This life is going to be awesome. And it comes down to a choice on your part. Do you want to step into that? Are you there now? Or do you hope to eventually be there? Hope to eventually be there. You're on the right journey, my friend. You're on the right path. And we're going to do it. We're going to make it happen together. Till next time, keep on with the greatness, the awesomeness, and the unstoppableness that you are. Bye for now.
Hey, this is Batman. I'm like one of the very first Misfits, and I talk with a really cool low voice like this, and I got some killer abs, and I got something to tell you. First up, you want to be on this Misfit journey with us? Well, that's just fine. Like, we're going to be seeing what Coach Spiegel is going to be doing on his way to millions and changing the world, and you get to see that happen. And you can jump on and start your own businesses as well. Might as well start with the MLM world. And if you do that, you're going to need customers and clients. Yeah, you pretty much need that whichever business that you're in, but especially in this MLM world. And if you're going to need customers and clients, you're going to need leads. So to get your leads, Coach Spiegel is pretty cool. He made for you a cool little MP3 download, and you just go ahead and download that and find out 17 sources of mostly free leads that's fun and easy to get, and what to do with them when you got them. Because it's kind of like a dog is chasing after a car, and they grab a hold of those leads. It's like the dog's got a hold of the car, and the dog's like, now what do I do? So that's what it is. A lot of people with leads are like, I got all these leads. What do I do with them? What do I say? What am I supposed to write them or talk to them on the phone or email them? What do I do? So the free resource there to help you out on that front. Just go to 17 free sources. No, that's a bad one. Why don't you go to theforgivenmisfits.com/leads. And if that's a little bit too much to remember, do just click in the link in the description box, that goes with this podcast. You just click on over there, and that will take you right there. Fun, easy, mostly free leads for your business, whichever it may be. We will see you there, Misfit. Keep on being awesome, and don't forget to work on those abs. Bye for now. Thank you for being great and for making a difference in the world. I love you.